The channel, chain and sprocket kit time going on, the Enfield. Genuine sprockets, JT chain. This was about 90 odd pound from Hitchcocks UK. And the secret weapons to get that wheel back on. There you go, an air wedge pump. And a ratchet strap. We put a ratchet strap around the top of the rim, take tension on that, put that underneath, and that'll hold the wheel. I don't need to take the wheel out, just need to get it down and out to get the caliper off, to get the push drive out and down. So I'll get this chain and all that off. I'm not filming everything for this because we've done all this already. We've not done the push drive, but that's fine. Alright, catch up out there. First things first, get the old tango gloves on to get that chain off mucky jobs. These are good because they're reusable, you won't rip that easy. Alright.
Right, I'll just do some voiceover with this with the usual Sunday noise, working outdoors. So cracking these Allen bolts off, they're quite easy to round the bottom two. Now, if they are really tight, I'd recommend you cracking them loose when your engine's warm. But don't forget about them and go back out. I might lose that casing. But that's the easiest way to get that off. And then doing the gearbox sprocket, just bend that tab back, stick the bike in gear, and then if you stand on the brake pedal, you'll be able to break that nut loose. It's always tightest on a brand new bike, but if you've done it yourself before, I don't use torque wrenches outside of engines, I just hand tight, spark plug tight, and F tight. You know what F tight means. Okay, we'll get the old chain off now, just split it. I'm just going to be refitting this new chain with the quick link, or the spring clip, some folk call them. I would use a rivet link on a more powerful bike, but the quick link's fine on these bikes. Okay, so we need to drop the axle out of the rear wheel to get the rear sprocket off the push drive. So what we do is just loosen off the wheel nut, get that axle out, spindle out, and we'll pull the chain tensioners out as well. And then it's going to be a case of rigging up the ratchet strap through the wheel. And we've got the air pad that will slot underneath as well. Yeah, easy as that. So with the air wedge, or air pack, whatever you want to call it, underneath and inflated a bit, you see the wheel coming up, it's taking the weight of the wheel, but we'll secure it with the ratchet strap through the top. Just run that around your seat or around your pannier rack, like I'm doing. Just whatever you want to do. Make sure you're not going to chip your paint. Not that I'm worried. But a bit of cardboard over your seat as well, if you're using this over your seat. And you'll soon have that wheel floating on its own without its axle. Right, spindle out and unclip the rear brake line. You'll see I've got a cable tie on it, holding it from touching the tyre. These do need to be longer on the bike. But yeah, just get that caliper pulled off and hung out the way, and then there you go, your push drive just drops off. Easy as that. That sprocket off the push drive, you'll need a 14 and a 17mm spanner. Just using a hammer to break the tightness of it, and then I'll use my ratchet on the nut. There's no tabs or anything on these, it's just a nylock nut. So once they're all off, just basically swap over your new sprocket. Sprocket goes on either way, but you might as well put the Royal Enfield motif on the outside. Then with that back all together, you're ready to reinstall into the wheel. and get the wheel back on the bike. It's a mucky job doing a chain and sprocket kit, even if you can do your best to clean the bike before, but you'll always end up with muck up your arms and everything. Just the nature of motorbikes with chain drives. It'll be over the swing arm and inside your brake caliper mount and stuff, so you'll not stay clean doing this. So I'd never use a ratchet to really tighten stuff, because that's how you knacker inside a ratchet mechanism. Always use your spanners or a torque bar or a torque wrench. I don't bother with torque wrenches, like I say, for stuff like this. I just use spanners. If tight all the time, works fine. Right, so that's that done. Let's get the push drive back on the wheel. Get the wheel back on. So the push drive just slots in, no problem on this bike. Some bikes, the rubber push drive things, they just fall out everywhere now, but it's alright. So anyway, the chain adjuster in, that holds the spindle, and then we'll just get that lined up, and then we'll inflate up the air wedge or tighten the ratchet strap, whatever one. I'll use the ratchet strap first, then just pump it up to get the right height. You'll see the speeded up bit there, it's sort of coming up a bit. There you go. Just getting that lined up as best you can, and then just a bit of shoe go on the spindle and a wee tap, and it should go right through. There you go, not rocket science, and you've got a wee helping hand with an airbag underneath on the strap. Okay, so you've knocked that spindle through just enough that's sticking it enough to hold that awkward space that it always falls out. And then you want to do this rear caliper. This is the most awkward bit. And just get the pads opened up the best you can, and then slide them over the disc. Once they're on, you can then look down to the locating tab. I should have filmed this better. I should have had my camera up higher, probably. So you see there, I'm lifting it up just to align that slider to slot in. It's hard that with the pad not being long enough. But once that's in, just get your chain adjuster in, and you need to try and get everything lined up here to tap the spindle through. I'm using their half-inch extension bar just to wriggle it all. And then when I start tapping my spindle through, I can feel it knocking you'll see it knocking the extension bar out, and then it just pops through. There it is there, just needing a wee bit line up. More or less ready to go. But what a difference with that ratchet strap. You can see what I'm doing, I'm just adjusting it there in height slightly. There you go, spindle through. Doesn't get much easier than that. Okay, wheel nut on. That's the hard work done. So I'll just deflate that wee air wedge. That's brilliant actually, really good. And using the ratchet straps worked as well. So success. So I'm just tightening the wheel up now, just keep a hold of it, and I'll get my new chain on. I'll first of all do that front sprocket as well. I don't torque these, I just do it really tight. If need be, you can use the back brake again, but I've found that in gear it's tight enough. The tab there I've got is a bit bent, so I'm just having a rake through all my stuff. I've got so much spares now. Wheel. That's my box of new parts, so there's not a lot in that. Just fill it with kits and the likes. But I do have another tab that's been used once. There it is. But I'll just reuse that. It's better condition, and I'll probably get one ordered next time I'm getting stuff for Hitchcocks. So anyway, get that right tight up, and then we'll just bend the tab on, and that's job done. Torque FT tight. That's tight enough.
Lovely new chain.
A bike is always so nice, rides so nice with a new chain and sprocket kit on it, and that's when you realise how knackered your old chain's actually been. For me, it was the tight spots in it, but yeah, it's a pleasure to actually dirty job to do, but a pleasure to ride the bike once it's on. And so obviously I've fitted the 16 tooth. It came with 15 tooth as a kit. I also bought the 16 tooth from Hitchcocks, a Royal Enfield one. So it's Royal Enfield sprockets, and then it's an ET or EK chain, I can't remember, or JK, JT chain, I can't mind actually. It doesn't really matter, it's a decent chain. So the old split pins, you've got to get loads of grease on them, on the O-rings, don't you? Because once they're on, they're on, so hence why they give you grease. But for such a hot day, it was still hard to get that grease out though. But anyway, so as I say, I'm using the quick link, you call it, or split link. They use the pliers for the clip. You fit with the closed end, going towards the gearbox, remember, anti-clockwise. So yeah, it's a wee bit of a pain, this job. Now, what you don't see in the film is I've got a 6mm nut. It's holding it in my left hand. The camera's in the wrong place as usual. The only way you can make a film good is somebody standing with your camera filming you, probably. So they can put it exactly out of the view of your hand. But yeah, using a 6mm nut, it just pushes that plate in over the rivets till the little slots appear for your quick link. There it is to go on. And again, you don't see me putting that on. Put it on the widest bit, and then you slot it on. And then one of those pliers pings it on. Job's done. Just giving that a little bit of a crimp just to give it a bit of a helping hand. There you go. That's that on. There you go. Okay, nearly done. Just get that gearbox cover back on, and then we'll tighten up that chain. And we're nearly done. So I hope that's of use to anyone contemplating doing this job themselves. It's not a hard job, and this bike is nice to work on. And now I worked out how to get the back wheel on a lot easier than ever before. I'm not going to be worried about doing it again. Okay. Lastly but not least, remember and tighten your back, pump your back brake up before you go to test ride. And why do I know? Why am I laughing at that? Because I'm like everyone else that fixes their own bikes. They'll have been out before, jumped on the brakes, and there's nothing there. I also, when I tighten my wheel nut, is I give the chain tensioners a nip up. You'll always get a half turn on an Allen key. Because they loosen off on this bike and on that. If they're not done. Look at that, lovely smooth tuning. Right folks, done it myself easily. I don't swear much, but I beat the bastard. So that's what you need. Ratchet strap, you do that probably just with that, but that pump's good. So those two things are worth taking. I'm going to try and find a lighter type of ratchet strap than that to use. One that just pulls like this style. Might be strong enough for that. It's just taking the weight of the wheel. Might be, you know, can make something up smaller hooks on it. Anyway, I can do that wheel now. So that was a bit of thanks to, I can't remember everybody's who posted. Somebody posted the ratchet strap. Apologies for not knowing. There's so many comments. I reply to every comment. And that's why I can't put names to comments half the time. But the ratchet strap does work. And the ear wedge someone else recommended, I got one of them. That wasn't that expensive, as you know. They're 12 quid or something. Two things you can carry though with you. I'm going to make a lighter ratchet setup, as I say, but I've done it. I wasn't going to get beat. I wasn't going to get beat with that. So anyway, chain sprocket kit on at 19,500 miles.
So I've now got a breather, 500 miles, and then I'll do valve clearances at 20,000, oil and filters. And I'll probably stick front and back, definitely front brake pads in, and I'll look at the backs. They didn't look too bad there. And I also got that back wheel in, as you'll see in the video, without taking the brake pads out. So feeding it into the other side, that's how you do it, definitely. And then a socket or a big screwdriver in this side to hold that stupid spacer. Got speedos on the brain. Thanks again as always, and we'll probably just be back at work in the next film, commuting or harvest or both. Alright, bye for now.